Good afternoon, aloha. This is for the Committee on Legislative Management. My name is John Mizuno. I serve as the Vice Chair. I wanted to thank the Chair, Del Kobayashi, for allowing me to run today's hearing. Thank you very much, Chairman. Appreciate it. So again, today's date, Wednesday, March 23rd. It's approximately 2 p.m. We're in conference room 312 at the Capitol. First up, House Resolution number 112. First up, we've got William Ayla, DHHL.
Aloha, Chair Kobayashi, Vice Chair Mizuno. We would like to stand on our testimony respectfully in opposition to this reso.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ayla. Great seeing you again. Okay, anyone else wishing to testify? Got Representative Ward and Representative Minor saying you're testifying not in your capacity as a representative, but as a private citizen. Is that correct?
My name is Gene Ward, a citizen of Hawaii Kai, and one who has followed and is very concerned with what is for taxpayers' money, something that needs to have a bit of testimony. At first, I would say thank you for the opportunity to testify, particularly in regards the generosity by which this memo speaks to. It's suggesting that the $600 million that the Hawaiian Homes Commission will be given to build houses is something that we want to make sure is spent correctly. Now, I don't say that because I'm suspicious, but only because a lot of those in this building have said, yeah, it's where DHHL hasn't been funded for 100 years in terms of building and making exactly what should be a non-28,000 sized wait list. But a lot of people have lost faith, if you will, in the department's ability to spend its money and spend its money wisely. In my other capacity, and I will hand out later something that's called Broken Promises, where I, as an individual, interviewed all of the former directors. It's a great program. And interestingly, Chair and Vice Chair, Friday, which is a holiday, it's Prince Kohio Day. Prince Kohio Kalaniana Oli Highway 100 and some years ago, 2021, had the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act formed. That is a celebration that we have every year, but is also something where there is a bit of a sigh, if you will. There's 28,000 on the wait list. And as you know, the Hawaiian community is the last on the socioeconomic ladder: educational, home ownership, incarceration, largest group. And this is for the $600 million. And I think Mr. Ayla, and I heard he's just against it, I think he would be proud of, because it gives him expertise by the formation of this oversight committee to be assured that these are guys who are knowledgeable about how to build, how to allocate, and how to structure $600 million worth of housing funds. And I know there's a burn rate by which sometimes the federal monies that had been given to DHHL were not spent for years and years and years. And say, well, you guys are behind housing, you haven't spent the money. This will be a blessing to Bill Ayla. I really think it's to the advantage, and for taxpayers who know that this is going exactly for its purpose of building housing, and it'll be having an oversight by those people who are professional and very concerned that the Hawaiian community fulfill what otherwise Prince Kohio 101 years ago asked for. That is a thumbnail sketch. I could talk on for hours about this and the need for it, and I think all of us in the building know that, but it's a matter of now implementing it. And this is one way of ensuring that $600 million that goes to the Hawaiian community will go into housing, and we can celebrate that. Thank you for the opportunity to say a few words.
Very much, Representative Ward. Are there anyone else wishing to testify on House Resolution 112? If not, are there any questions, Chair?
Sure, I have a question.
Yes, Representative Ward, or
For Mr. Ward. It's not Rep Ward, since you're not in that capacity as a testifier. Thanks for coming in, and it's great to be able to just ask you a little bit on the background of this, because I know during my years here, you and I have really been kind of at the forefront of advocating for rights of Native Hawaiians. And so when I see a bill come through here that you had created, a reso, I generally trust its intentions, and we're always looking out for the same thing.
Thank you.
Then I do hear testimony from the head of DHHL in opposition to it. which I've been trying to get my arms around when I first kind of looking at that dynamic. And I guess, would it be a true statement to say that your support in this whole issue has been not necessarily for the agency that administers the funds, but for the Native Hawaiian people themselves and for the people on the waiting list and for their rights? And that's really what you're addressing this to. Is
Chair
to protect their
Kobayashi,
rights to.
you are spot on. That is exactly it. I have on our website, buildmorehawaiianhomes.com. Hey, Ward, what are you running for higher office, or you got a dog in this race? No, but I was a Peace Corps volunteer, Chair. And as John Kennedy said, we're not in the villages of the world because we want to make friends, or we're not there because the Russians are there. We're there because it's right. What this bill does, and what Hawaiian Homes and the Kohio 100-year-old act for the Department of Hawaiian Homelands does, is do the right thing for our people who were the indigenous landowners of all of what we had here. And quite frankly, if I can put my legislative hat on, for 10 years, I listened to the lip service that were given to the Hawaiians. And after a while, having been a Peace Corps volunteer and working with Native indigenous people, it's like, wait a minute, something's not right here. When it comes to cultural issues, when it comes to protocol, dancing and Native practices, Hawaiians e komo mai. When it comes to economic and political things, is it, well, wait a minute, we're not ready yet for that sort of thing. So I don't have a dog in the race, except for what maybe my old Peace Corps instinct is. To do what is right is what is important. And I think DHHL has got this structural organization, but they need some help getting over the hump of that backlog of 28,000 Hawaiians. And if there's any way that we can do that by having this as and again, I say for Bill Isla to have a supercharger group of professionals help him in this construction oversight for the $600 million that he's about to receive, I think it should be a blessing rather than a stumbling or an interruption or a blockade for his department. I think in the long run, he will end up thanking you, chairs, for this bill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair Kobayashi, if I may.
Oh, I yield to Mr. Isla.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
and
my
respectfully-
statement was going to be that I had one more question I'd like to ask, and that would be to Mr. Isla to give you a chance to respond.
Thank you, Chair Kobayashi. I would say that with regard to some of the testimony of Representative Ward, he is actually correct. We did have challenges in spending down the HASDA in the past. However, the recent years here at DHHL, we've actually spent that money down and actually have received or are about to receive, as soon as the president signs the budget bill, I think a confirmation from Congress that we've gone past that and we are recognized now as having the ability to spend the money that's appropriated to us. And that comes into proof of the $22.3 million of NAHASDA appropriations that's in the current bill, just awaiting the president's signature. That is the highest amount of NAHASDA spending that has ever been given to the Department of Hawaiian Homelands in its history. And I do believe that that is a recognition of our ability to take that money and get it out the door and use it for the benefit of those exact beneficiaries that Representative Ward was highlighting. In addition, in my tenure here, this is either as a deputy or as the chair, we have spent every CIP dollar that the legislature has appropriated to us. The only time that any delays have come into play, of course, is because of requests by SHPD or other state agencies for us to review. So I do want to defend my department and highlight the fact that we are able to spend every dollar that the legislature gives us, especially when it comes to CIP and creating units and lots for to take people off the wait list. And then I would just say that it's sort of premature because the House and the Senate versions for HB 2511 actually have different initiatives or visions right now. So it may end up in conference committee that most of the money doesn't go to construction. And then in that case, we wouldn't need any oversight because there wouldn't be any construction. So it's a little premature at this point, and I just would want to point that out. And I do thank Rep. Ward for his continued advocacy on behalf of beneficiaries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, really what it sounds like is the oversight committee would really be vindicating what he's saying, that, you know, according to director's statement, he has been diligent in doing what he's supposed to do as far as spending the money available to him. And that would be confirmed by that. And my understanding is 2511, like you're saying, there's very little guarantees on the final form on that. So this would just be an extra safeguard that we do have oversight on this. Thank you.
Thanks, Chairman. I can say it better.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Representative Okamoto, do you have any questions for either William Ayala or Representative Ward? Okay, if we're good, we're going to move on to the next resolutions on the agenda. We've got HR 171 and HCR 171. First up, Sandy Ma, Common Cause Hawaii.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Sandy Ma for Common Cause Hawaii. We sent in supportive testimony in favor of HR 171 and HCR 171. Thank you very much for hearing these resolutions. The public has greatly enjoyed having the opportunity to testify virtually and to have these hearings recorded for later viewing. And so we ask that it be made clear in these resolutions that virtual testimony be allowed to continue for people on neighbor islands and also people here on Oahu, and that the recordings be archived so that people could watch them at their leisure if they cannot make these live hearings. So we just want to make sure that that is clear in the resolutions. Thank you so much for hearing these resolutions, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Next up, HGEA, Randy Pereira. In support. Then I've got a number of individuals all in support. Michael Rice.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, I thought that was my cue to testify. Yes.
Thank you, Michael. Oh, Michael, did you want to testify? We've got. your
Yes,
testimony.
I'm sorry. I thought. Okay, basically, yes. I do fully support this resolution. I've been getting more and more involved with politics at the Capitol, pre-COVID, of course, and I've been able to see both sides of it. If I were to come down there today to testify for 2 minutes, that would be about 5 hours out of my day. That's 2 hours on the bus each way, plus just walking there, waiting. And I live all the way out in Makaha. I can't even imagine people who live Maui, Big Island, Molokai, and I've seen all these people testify now, like with the Zoom meetings. Like they'll be in their car, they'll pull over to the side of the road, because okay, it's time to testify, and then they'll give their spiel. As me, I do it in comfort of my home because, as I said, it's a schlep and a half to get down to town. It saves a lot of money and time. I can be doing work as I wait for my turn. And I've even had friends who have testified at work. They just ask for a simple bathroom break when it's about their time to testify, and they'll do it in a bathroom stall. Another thing I didn't mention in my written testimony is that it allows people to do things that they couldn't normally be able to do. For example, I'm something of a gun rights advocate. One thing I did during a Zoom conference was brought out one of my guns to show the certain features on it that they wanted to ban. And this little hunting rifle right here is an example. Now, if I was in this room right now with this gun, I'd probably be in handcuffs right now. But since I can do this from the safety of my own home, there's not a problem. I can point out things rather than just standing in front of you, pointing to a poster, if that's even allowed, saying, oh, yes, well, this part is very common, this part, this part, this part. And don't worry, that gun will be going back in my safe once this is over.
Michael, can you kind of sum it up, please?
All right, but yes, I'm just in great support of this. If anything, I believe this should be expanded upon, and hope that the Zoom conferences continue well beyond once the pandemic is over. Thank you very much.
Several great points about saving money and time. So thank you, Mr. Rice. Lynn Matuso, Lynn in support. And I've got David Anderson also providing testimony in support. Lori Boyd, testimony in support. I've got a Talak Takuda individual also submitting testimony in support. Elizabeth Kent, testimony in support. And Linda Morgan, testimony in support. Did I miss anybody? Is there anyone else that wants to testify on HR 171 and HCR 171? If not, members, are there any questions? We're good? Okay, we're going to recess for decision making. Okay, thank you again. This is for decision making for the Committee on Legislative Management. First up, HR 112. Want to thank Representative Ward and Bill Isla for testifying on this measure. Recommendation is to pass with tech amendments for clarity. We also want to put language in to establish the Oversight Committee. And third, we want to name the members of the House Oversight Committee. These members will be as follows. Speaker shall appoint one majority member, one minority member, a Native Hawaiian individual with expertise in Native Hawaiian traditional and customary practices with housing experience, a deputy attorney general with experience working with DHHL, we need a legal person there. And finally, an individual with real estate development, business, and financial expertise to assist the oversight committee. That's about it. So if we're okay with it, we're gonna take the vote. So, Mr. Chairman, can you take the vote?
Thank you. Voting on HR 112 as amended. Chair and Vice Chair both vote aye. Representative Bellotti? Absent. Representative Morikawa?
Aye.
Representative Yamashita?
Aye.
Representative Okimoto? Okay, resolution passes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Next bill, next resolution on our agenda, it's HR 171. Recommendations to pass with an HD1 tech amendments for clarity, HR 171. So, Mr. Chair, can you take the vote?
Voting HR 171 and HCR 171 as amended. Chair and Vice Chair both vote aye. Do we have any with reservations? Any no votes? Thank you. Resolutions passed.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you for the clarification. It's both for HR 171 and HCR 171. We are now adjourned.